Cast your mind back. Before Boris.
Oh, please call me Boris.
Before the Olympics. Before Jags Panesar. UK government were in the middle of a push to improve the numeracy and literacy of our nation, riding the ideals that an intelligent nation would produce a happier, wealthy nation. The BBC were on board and had produced an online arm called BBC Raw. BBC Reading and Writing had online classes and interactive games for adult education, but it also branched out further with a youth arm called BBC Switch and Blast to encourage creativity in writing and music. Although sadly funding was pulled in 2011, a relic had survived. A DVD produced in 2005 called The A to Z Tour of Albert Square, a little piece of EastEnders history where Adam Woodyat used the power of Edu-Tainment to brush up our skills and learn some new ones. So I'm Alex from Walford Weekly Podcast, and let's look back together at the time when EastEnders tried to Edu-Tain you. Let's start off by saying that what the BBC were doing here was by no means revolutionary. By the mid-2000s, most households had a DVD player in their home, and companies knew that this had the potential for cheap gifts at Christmas. Interactive media was born, a DVD that you could give feedback to. It was a video game for the whole family, but mainly aimed at the older generation as it was simple to use. Nostalgia was slapped in the gift receiver's face, as a lot of them harked back to the game shows of yore. The bygone era when everyone was better mannered and you could leave your baby in a hot car while you popped in for some bread. The BBC saw this as an opportunity for their new venture BBC Raw, and wanted a programme of their own that even the most cynical of doubters could still be pulled in by if they were shown it. So the A to Z tour of Albert Square was born, and in an hour-long adventure we travel through the square with Adam Woodyat. This is the first interesting choice for the DVD, because although he introduces himself as Adam, he later on refers to himself as Ian, responding sometimes as if he is aware that EastEnders is a TV programme, and then other times giving a side comment like he is Ian Bill. It was like he was having a slow breakdown whilst living on the square and producing this DVD to no one. In fact, as if there was no camera crew there, like Ian Bill was just walking around talking to himself on a Sunday afternoon. Adam, or should I say Ian, proceeds to explain the rules of the game. Basically, each letter of the alphabet is related to something from the soap, and in turn you have a question based on that letter about literacy. Some of the letters made good sense. For instance, C was for cafe, Q was for Queen Vic, but they clearly had trouble finding a letter to match all the requirements, so some of the letters are quite tenuous.
H is for Haschem. X is for X marks for spot.
Once the letter is revealed and Adam has his out-of-body experience, we then proceed to a question with 3 alternative answers. As this is Edu-Tainment and we're meant to be learning English rules, they come in many guises, including use of an apostrophe for possession, plurals, linking words with similar meanings, and so on. However, at the beginning, the BBC used a different tack to get you interested, because with questions A and B, they instead tested your EastEnders knowledge. This for me seems like a really good idea actually, because it really invests the viewer straight away. But when they are slowly integrated then into the English-based questions, the dubious or the most nervous of viewer would then feel more comfortable with proceeding forward throughout the whole DVD.
I hope I ain't helping you to do nothing unsavoury.
And here's the best bit, as a pat on your back, they then give you a classic clip. At the time of the release of this DVD, this must have been an amazing treat. Unlike today where you can almost find any clip worth watching from EastEnders on YouTube, here you are gifted 25 full scenes from 1985 to 2005, the time of the publishing of the DVD. And there are some great clips on here too. Some of the highlights for me were Chrissy getting revenge back on Kate by cutting her hair after the affair with Den is revealed.
How did you feel when you were screwing this bloke having this great time, and all the while his wife was at home looking after his kids?
Pat Snide remarked to Mo on the evening the Slaters moved into the square.
Still washing your dining in public then, Mo?
And an absolute delight to see Phil flush Ian's head down the toilet during a Bill family meal.
Clean yourself up. Bit of a mess.
They'd even thrown in some music videos too, of Every Loser Wins, the Top of the Pop performance of Anyone Can Fall in Love, and Sharon's first star turn in the Vic with the band, just before the power went off. One clip I really enjoyed, and a great Easter egg or a great pub quiz question for anyone, is when Billy Mitchell first takes over the video rental shop. He types in the newly resurrected "then what's his account" into the computer, and with the power of WordPad, we discover that he has an overdue copy of Porky's 2.
Before he disappeared in 1988, Den took out a copy of Porky's 2. He never brought it back, which means Mr. Watts owes me a lot of money.
How much?
£9,000.
Once you've correctly answered all the questions, you get to the end of the DVD, and quite flatly, you're rewarded with a static screen giving you your score. This was a missed trick for me. An extra original scene from the cast could have been added here, I think. I understand this perhaps could have been a one and done deal at the time, but I'm sure any family who owned this DVD would have got it out more than once, just to re-watch some of those clips again and let their heads explode with nostalgia. Overall, it was a lot of fun to play, and it was great, as I said, to have a few throwbacks of some clips that I either haven't seen in a long time or don't remember very well. In fact, one or two occasions I didn't remember any of the clips at all. Some of the questions though were very ambiguous. I'm not the smartest cookie, I got a B GCSE in English, thank you very much, but some of the questions were really tough and strange considering it was going for an adult education market. But thinking back in 2005 when this DVD was able to be picked up for free on the BBC website, it must have been amazing to get it through your door and play with it, even if you didn't want it for learning or brushing up on your English. In fact, if you were good enough, you could have won a tour to the square and meet Adam with his identity disorder. Thanks once again for joining us. Don't forget there's a lot more content on our YouTube channel. Check it out right now and subscribe and ring the bell if you'd like some more. We also have a podcast and a Twitter, Instagram and Facebook group. All the details are on the screen right now.
Z is for... wait and see. Okay, so now you're probably wondering what on earth we could conjure up for Z. There are no zombies in the square. There is in the zoo. But we have tracked down one of the only zebra crossings